They found him 3 days after the end of the world, not dead worse. He was sitting in the corner of a university restroom, hugging his knees with a comb on his head and sparse red feathers on his forearms. The security guard opened the door, looked at him for a second, and quietly closed it again. "There is a rooster in there," the guard said to someone in the hallway. It was not a metaphor. Ko Han-il understood what had happened to the world later than everyone else, because he sat in the restroom for 3 days and did not come out. The apocalypse did not happen with an explosion or a war. Just one day, people who had eaten began to change. Not all at once, gradually over several hours. First the skin, then the body structure, then not quite human anymore. Whoever had eaten bull became a hybrid with horn plates and strength enough to flip a truck. Whoever had eaten tiger, there were few of those, but even the newly formed army patrols did not touch them. Whoever had eaten shark, eagle, wolf got something valuable. The system appeared for everyone together with the transformation. Skills, levels, unique abilities for most. For most. On the day of the transformation, Han Yul was late for a lecture and took the first thing they served in the cafeteria. Chicken breast? The cheapest one from a plastic tray with rice that had stuck together into one lump. The system showed him one unique ability. Transformation. Completed type, Hybrid Gallus Domesticus class. F. Unique skill, Early Rising Awakening at Dawn. Early Rising, not a combat skill, not regeneration, not enhancement, just an alarm clock. Biological, impossible to turn off. He looked at the lines for 3 days. Outside there was rumbling, the city was rebuilding itself to the new order of things. Hybrids were dividing territories. The strong were rising, the weak were hiding. Han Uul sat in the restroom, with a comb. For the next 2 years he survived only because he was careful, inconspicuous, and good at hiding. Not because he was strong, not because the system had given him something valuable, he just did not get caught. In the new world, there was a clear hierarchy. The hybrid class determined everything: work, safety, respect, food. F class was the bottom. They were hired for dirty work, not allowed into closed districts, charged a double survival tax. Han Uyul delivered cargo, repaired perimeters, sometimes swept the market. They called him a rooster without malice, simply as a fact, like calling a gray cat gray. At 31 years old, he died, not heroically, not in battle. Just one of the S-class hybrids bull type, huge like a wall, was walking through the market and did not watch his step. Han Uyul was in the way. A shoulder hit, accidental, not even intentional, threw him into a concrete pillar. The last thing he saw was the sky above the city. Gray, with yellow streaks from someone's power attack in a district from here. The last thing he thought, I should have eaten something else. He opened his eyes. Dormitory ceiling. A crack in the plaster shaped like a lightning bolt. He knew that crack. He had looked at it 1,000 times. 18 years old, first year, Tuesday morning. Hanel sat up. Human hands, no feathers. He felt his head, no comb. The mirror on the wall showed an ordinary face, young, confused. He sat motionless for 7 minutes. Then he stood up, walked to the window, and looked outside. Ordinary city. Cars, people, someone yelling at a dog near the entrance. The coffee shop across the street is opening. A girl in an apron is turning the sign over. 3 months until the apocalypse. He knew that. Remembered the exact date. Remembered how it all began. Remembered the faces of the first hybrids. Remembered the system. Remembered every year after. And remembered the chicken breast. Good, he said out loud. We will not repeat it. He spent the first 2 days thinking slowly, methodically. The logic was simple. Eat tiger, become tiger. Eat shark, become shark. The stronger the animal, the higher the transformation class, the better the system, the more powerful the skills. That meant he needed to get something strong and eat it before everything began. He made a list. Tiger zoo, security, impossible. Shark, no access to the sea, no money, no time. Eagle, catch a bird in the city, seriously? Bear zoo, same problem. Lion, same thing. He sat over the list and methodically crossed things out. On the 3rd day, he understood. He had neither money nor connections nor time to get exotic meat. An ordinary scholarship student, in a dormitory, in a city without a zoo with open access. The list ended. He stared at the blank sheet. He should have thought about this earlier, in that life. But in that life he did not know. The night before the apocalypse, he did not sleep. He lay there and thought, the stronger the better. But what is available right now, right here, without money and connections? Nothing. Literally nothing strong. At 3 in the morning, he got up, turned on the light, sat on the bed, looked at his hands for a long time, then slowly brought his wrist to his mouth. The thought was absurd. It was strange. It was, honestly speaking, a little crazy, but there was logic in it. If you eat, you transform, and a human is also a living being. What happens if you eat yourself? He bit his wrist, not hard with his teeth until blood, a little deeper than a scratch. The pain was sharp, ordinary. He licked the wound. Lay back down. Thought, most likely nothing will happen, and this was just a strange idea at 3 in the morning. Fell asleep. The transformation began at 6 in the morning, not gradually immediately. He woke from pain not sharp, but deep, as if something inside was rebuilding the foundation. Muscles, bones, blood. Han Ul fell from the bed onto the floor and lay there, teeth clenched, for 18 minutes. Then everything stopped. Silence. He lay on the floor and looked at the ceiling at the same lightning bolt-shaped crack. Breathed. The system appeared quietly, not with fanfare, not with a bright flash, just lines before his eyes. Transformation, completed type, hybrid Homo sapiens. Class? He stared at the question marks for a long time. Then the next line. System, initialization, unclassified transformation type detected, no precedence, classification impossible. Assignment of unique status, 0 specimen. He sat up. The next line, unique skills acquired. Sculpting control of muscle tissue volume and density. Fast stitch accelerated regeneration of damaged tissues. Blocked? Blocked. He looked at the list. Sculpting. He did not understand at once, just tried. Focused on his right arm and felt the muscle respond. How he could compress it, condense it, make it harder and denser, or the opposite, relax it almost to 0. How the volume changed not from training, but from intention alone. He clenched his right fist and activated the skill at the same time. The arm doubled in volume. Veins bulged. Knuckles turned white. He unclenched. It returned to the ordinary arm of a student who had never gone to the gym in his life. Good, he said for the second time in 3 days. This time differently. This time, outside the city still did not know what was happening, but Hanyul knew. In 3 hours, the first people would begin to change. In 6, panic. By night, a new world. He had 3 hours. He stood up, washed up, pulled on a hoodie with long sleeves not out of embarrassment. He just did not want questions ahead of time. Went out into the dormitory hallway. The cafeteria opened at 7. The guy from his floor, Pak Ju-ho, a tall guy with the permanent earphones, was trudging past toward the shower room. Han Yul, why are you up so early? Ju-ho yawned. Could not sleep. There are no classes until 11 today. I know. Ju-ho shrugged and left. Han Ul watched him go. In 3 hours, Ju-ho would eat eggs and toast for breakfast. He would become a D-class hybrid chicken type, but better than a rooster, at least the claws would be decent. Then he would join the middle district, work as a guard. He would live fairly well. He remembered everyone from his dormitory, remembered who became what, remembered who survived. It was a strange feeling to walk down the hallway and know someone else's future. He went down to the cafeteria. The menu was familiar. Rice, soup, eggs, chicken. Hanyul took a tray, stood in line, and when his turn came to take food, he walked past all the trays. Took nothing. Sat at an empty table, sat. Now everything depends on what to do next. Not on the transformation that had already happened. On what to do in a world that would change in 3 hours. Outside the cafeteria window, the morning sky, blue without a single cloud, the last normal morning. He looked at it without hurry. In the past life, I spent this morning rushing to a lecture. In this one, I am not rushing anywhere, because I know where to go. He raised his right hand, clenched his fist quietly, unnoticed, under the table, and felt the muscle respond, condense, fill with strength he had never had. The sculpting skill is active. Apocalypse in 2 hours, 50 minutes. Han Yul was not in a hurry. The apocalypse began at 9:47. Han Yul sat on the roof of the dormitory and looked at the city. Not out of curiosity, he knew what would happen. He just wanted to see it from the outside, understand the scale which in his first life he had perceived only through panic and fear. The first transformation in the district to the right. A man on a second-floor balcony suddenly bent over, then straightened. Then, even from here, it was visible that something had changed in the silhouette. Broader shoulders, holds his head differently. Then the second one by the coffee shop across the street. The girl in the apron whom he had seen in the morning suddenly leaned against the wall and slid down. Passers-by were stopping, looking, not understanding yet. Then everywhere at once, the city stirred like a living creature that had been hurt. Cries at first isolated, then merging together. The sound of breaking glass somewhere, a car alarm, dogs all at once. Han Yul watched it calmly. In the first life at this moment, I was running down the cafeteria corridor and shouting with everyone else. It changed nothing. I only shouted. He stood up, stretched his neck, and began to think specifically. The first rule he knew from his past life. The first 48 hours are the most important. The world is not yet structured. There is no hierarchy, no power districts, no army patrols. This is the window when you can move freely and no one has taken the resources yet. The second rule, the transformation class determines the initial ceiling, but skills determine real power. In his past life, he had seen C-class hybrids who outpaced B-class ones simply by knowing how to work with their skill. He had sculpting and fast stitch, plus 2 blocked slots. Sculpting muscle control, he still did not fully understand what that meant in battle. He needed to try. The third rule, the most important. The first groups that formed in the past life during those 48 hours determined people's fate for years ahead. The right group survival and growth. The wrong group working on someone else's territory. In the first life, he joined a group at random. The group turned out average, neither bad nor good. It simply existed. Now he knew whom to look for. He came down from the roof. The dormitory hallway was already half empty. People had either locked themselves in their rooms or run outside. The door to one room was wide open. Inside could be heard the sounds of transformation, muffled groans. Han Ul stopped at the open door, looked inside. The girl, third floor, room 312. So Yun-ji, he remembered her by the name on the door, was lying on the floor, hugging herself with her arms. The transformation was at its peak, skin on her hands darkening in stripes, fingers lengthening. He remembered her from the past life. The day before the apocalypse, she had eaten in the same cafeteria, ordered venison steak, expensive, festive for some reason. She became a B-class hybrid deer type, fast, with sharpened senses, and the track skill could read other people's routes from minimal traces. A valuable skill for a scout. In the past life, she left with a strong group in the north of the city. He never saw her again. Han Yul walked into the room, sat down on the floor beside her. "Does it hurt?" he asked. She looked at him with eyes clouded by pain. "Who are you?" she exhaled. "Neighbor from the floor." He did not hurry to leave. "This will pass. About 12 more minutes." "What is happening?" "Transformation. You are changing." He spoke evenly, without panic, the way people speak about something known. "Everything is fine. Just breathe." She looked at him. "You already went through it?" "Yes. Into what did you—" "That does not matter for now," he said. "Breathe." For 12 minutes he sat beside her. Did not touch. Did not help physically, just stayed there. Sometimes said breathe when she forgot. The transformation ended. So Yun-ji lay on the floor, soaked in sweat, with a striped dark brown pattern on the skin of her arms like a deer's. Her ears had sharpened slightly. Her eyes were amber now, not brown. She looked at her hands. "What am I?" she asked quietly. "Deer," said Han Yul. "Class B. Good result, you know?" "Approximately." She slowly sat up. "The system," she said. "I see it, Reed," he said. "Right now it is important to read everything it shows." She read he could see it by the movement of her eyes, then stopped. "Track," she read aloud. "Unique skill track. Good skill." "What does it do?" "You will find out when you try it." Han Yul stood up. "Yun-ji-si. Do you have a plan for the next few hours?" She looked up at him. "No, if you want, come with me. Not mandatory, your will." He shrugged. "But I know what will happen next, and I know where to go. I will manage alone, but with 2 it is more reliable." Yun-ji looked at him for a second. "What did you transform into?" Into myself, said Han Yul. What? I will explain later. He stepped toward the door. You have about 5 minutes to get up and gather what is necessary. Only the most essential. He went out into the hallway. Silence behind him. Then the sound of movement. She was getting up. He was not smiling, but something had changed in his shoulders. They dropped slightly. First person. In the past life, I did not know her at all. Good start. Pak Ju-ho was standing in the hallway. Not the Ju-ho Han-ul knew, the neighbor with earphones. Always sleepy, harmless. This Ju-ho occupied the full width of the hallway with his shoulders. Fresh transformation about 20 minutes ago. Skin on his arms with horn inserts, neck thicker, eyes with a red rim. Bull hybrid C-class? Han-ul had seen this type of transformation many times in his past life. Ju-ho looked at him. Han-ul, he said, voice a little lower than it had been in the morning. You okay? I am okay. You did not change? I changed. You just cannot see it. Ju-ho looked at him with the expression people look at something incomprehensible with not hostility, but evaluation. I hear neighbors downstairs, said Ju-ho. Some are loud, angry. I know. What do you think is happening? Apocalypse, said Han Yul simply. Ju-ho looked. You are calm. Yes, why? Because panic does not help. Han Yul looked at him. Ju-ho? What did you eat yesterday evening? What? What did you eat? Yesterday. I scrambled eggs. Dumplings, I guess. And I took a piece of sausage from Min Cheol. Ju-ho frowned. Why are you asking? Han Yul looked at his transformation. Clearly bull. So there really was something beef-based in the dumplings or the sausage. Just checking a theory, said Han Yul. Listen, are you coming with us or staying? With you. With whom? At that moment, Eun-ji came out of room 312 with a backpack, in a jacket, with amber eyes and striped arms. Stopped beside Han Yul. Ju-ho looked at her. You are a deer, he said. You are a bull, she replied. Yes, class. CB, she said, and looked at Han Yul. Is he with us too? He decides for himself. Ju-ho shifted his gaze from one to the other. Where are you going? First to Tongil Market, said Han Yul. There will be chaos there now, but by evening one trader will close his shop and leave abandoning everything. He has stocks of canned food and medicine. We take that. How do you know? I know that is not an answer. No, agreed Han Yul, but there is no other one for now. He looked at Ju-ho evenly. You are C-class. You have strength. If you come, you will be useful. If you do not come, good luck. Ju-ho thought for a second. I am coming, he said. The three of them left the dormitory. The city was already different. Not a catastrophe yet, but a borderline state people are running. People are standing in the middle of the street and looking at their hands. Someone is crying. Someone is shouting. Cars are standing across the road. One traffic light is blinking red without switching. Hybrids are already noticeable in the crowd. Han Yul counted as they moved. 2 bulls, 1 boar, a woman with a cat-type precise movements, vertical pupil. Several chicken types among them. One caught his gaze and looked away. Instinctively, a rooster recognizes a rooster. Hanno looked ahead. Eun-ji walked slightly behind, and to the right he saw out of the corner of his eye how she moved her gaze along the street. The track skill had already activated on its own. She was reading routes, traces, the trajectories of people in the crowd. She did not yet understand what she was doing. She simply saw differently. Ju-ho walked on the left tense, fists clenched. Horn plates on his shoulders, automatic defensive reaction. They extended when someone came close. The body already knew its new rules. Han Yul? Ju-ho said quietly. Yes, you said you transformed into yourself. Yes, how? Bit myself, said Han Yul simply. Pause. What? Bit myself? Until blood. Ate it. Pause. Why? Because there was nothing else. Ju-ho walked and processed that. And what came of it? Not bad, said Han Yul. What class? Unknown. Skills? Yes. What kind? You will see. Ju-ho looked at him from the side. You are strange. I know. Tongil Market in 20 minutes. Chaos is expected. Half the stalls abandoned, some burning, not a fire yet. Just an overturned brazier at street food. People in transformation, people not. A fight at the entrance, two bulls did not divide something. Hanyul walked past the fight without stopping. Third row, seventh stall, he said. They walked quickly. The third row was quiet, almost empty. The seventh stall closed shutters, a lock on the door the owner had already left. Han Yul approached the door. The lock standard, hanging. Yes, the lock. Ju-ho looked at the lock, then clenched his fist and hit short without drawing back. The lock burst. Ju-ho looked at his fist. Wow, he said quietly. You will get used to it, said Han Yul, and pushed the door. Supplies inside, canned food in boxes, medicine in plastic containers, water in large bottles. The stall owner had left in a hurry, took only money and documents, abandoned the rest. Take everything we can carry, said Han Yul. Yunji medicines, priority. Ju-ho canned food, you can carry more. I will take water and the rest. They worked silently, quickly. 5 minutes and the backpacks were packed. Han Yul left last. Closed the door not out of respect for the abandoned stall, just reflex. Then thought and left it open, others would find it. They would survive too. Where now, Ju-ho asked. North District? Abandoned parking structure on Taehak Street. Han Yul swung on his backpack. By evening, a group will gather there. We need to arrive before them. Whose group? Nobody's yet. Pause. Ours if we arrive first. Yunji looked at him. You know everything in advance, she said. Not a question, a statement. Some things, said Han Yul. How? He looked at her. Already lived once, he said. Yunji looked at him for a long time. Then, I see, she said. Calmly, without unnecessary questions. In the past life, you left with someone else's group and I never saw you again. In this one, you were walking beside me. He did not say that out loud. He just walked ahead. The abandoned parking structure on Taehak had 3 levels, concrete walls, 1 working entrance. In the past life, by the evening of the first day, about 40 people had gathered here spontaneously, simply because the place seemed safe. The group formed itself without a leader at first, then the leader was forced out by strength. Forced out by one man, a guy with board transformation S-class, a rarity. His name was Cheol-su. In the past life, Han Yul saw him once at the market, a year later. By then, Cheol-su held an entire district. He started here. Han Yul arrived at the parking structure at 2 in the afternoon. Empty, only pigeons and an old car by the wall with punctured tires. They went inside, climbed to the second level. Higher up, the approaches were visible, below the main entrance. Han Yul sat on a concrete barrier, took a can out of the backpack, opened it, held it out to Eunji. Eat. I am not hungry. Transformation takes a lot. Eat. She took it? Ate silently. Ju-ho sat down beside him loudly with all his weight. The concrete barrier cracked a little. He looked down. Am I heavier now? Yes, said Han Yul. How much? About twice. Seriously, you will get used to it. Ju-ho ate thoughtfully. Han Yul, yes. You said we would arrive before the group and it would be ours. Pause. And if someone does not want that? They will want it. Why are you sure? Because on the first day, everyone wants one thing, safety and understanding of what is happening. Han Yul looked at the entrance. The one who gives that automatically becomes needed. Will you give it? Yes. But you are not the strongest, said Ju-ho. You yourself say the class is unknown. And different people will come, some may be higher. Strength is not the only argument. Han Yul looked at him. Especially in the first 48 hours when no one understands the rules. And if someone tries by force? Han Yul a second, then we respond. Ju-ho looked at him. Oh, you saw what I did to the lock? Yes. You think that is enough? You are not. The 3 of us depend on who comes. Han Yul put the empty can into the backpack. But I have a skill I have not used in battle yet. I want to see what it can do. Sculpting? Yes, and what is that? Muscle control, said Han Yul. I can change volume and density. Pause. I do not fully understand it yet. Yunji looked at him. Show me, she said. Han Yul looked at her, then took off his jacket, rolled up his sleeve. Ordinary student's arm. He activated sculpting. Slowly the forearm muscle began to grow. Not inflate like pumping, exactly grow, condense. Layers of muscle tissue appeared under the skin, as if someone were sculpting from the inside. The arm doubled, then more. The skin tightened. Veins traced the relief. He clenched his fist, then struck the concrete barrier beside him. The barrier did not burst, it cracked. A deep crack through the entire thickness. Juho watched silently. Yoonji watched silently. Han-ul withdrew the skill, the arm returned to its normal state. He shook it a little, burns a bit. Unusual. I understand, said Juho. Yes, agreed Han-ul. Silence. Han-ul, said Juho. What? Sorry I asked why you bit yourself. It is fine. It was smart. It turned out by accident, said Han-ul. The first people appeared at the parking structure at 4 in the afternoon. A woman with a child, a girl about 8 years old. Both transformed the woman-cat type, D class, the girl beside her with small cat ears, the same type, the same food, obviously. They entered cautiously, looking around. Han-ul stood up from the barrier. Here, he said, not loudly enough for them to hear. The place is safe. The second level is better. The woman stopped, looked at him with distrust, with fatigue. Who are you? The same as you, he said. There are 3 of us. We have food and water. Pause. We are not taking this by force, just a place. The woman looked at Ju. Ho, he with horn plates, looked imposing. He will not touch you, said Han-ul. Definitely will not touch you, said Juho. I am not aggressive at all. This just grew on its own. He pointed at the plates. The girl from behind her mother looked at Juho with interest. Are you a little bull? She asked. Yes, said Juho. Do you moo? No, have not tried yet. The girl nodded seriously. The woman relaxed a little. A small detail, but Han-ul saw it. Come up, he said. They went up. By 6 in the evening, there were 22 people in the parking structure. Han-ul did not recruit them. He simply, when people came in, met them, said the place was safe, offered water. Some left did not want a group. Most stayed. Among the 22, there were 7 combat transformations. 2 bulls, 1 boar average, B class, not that same terrifying Cheol-su whom Han-ul feared. An eagle, 2 wolves, and a woman with a lynx transformation. A class the latter lynx rare. The lynx's name was Im So-yeon. 25 years old, short hair, motionless gaze. Came alone. Stood by the wall, spoke to no one, observed. At some point, Han-ul approached her. Im So-yeon si. She looked at him. How do you know my name? Guessed. He looked at her calmly. Lynx A class. Solo hunter skill, most likely. Pause. You did not come because you want to be in a group. She was silent. You came because you were observing, he said. Assessing the situation. Pause. That is smart. What do you want? She said. Voice quiet, direct. Nothing right now, said Han-ul. I am just saying it is safe here. The rest is your decision. He stepped away. So-yeon watched him go. Stayed. At 8 in the evening, Cheol-su arrived. Han-ul recognized him immediately, although he had seen him only once in the past life and then he had been older. Now young, large, with a boar transformation that was almost complete. The tusks still small, they would grow. Horn inserts along the forearms. Eyes with red rims, S-class. He came in with 2 men wolf, a guy with bear transformation. Both looked around like people who had arrived and already considered the place theirs. Han-ul went down to meet them. Cheol-su stopped, looked at him appraisingly. Who is in charge? He asked. No one, said Han-ul. That does not happen. For now it does. Cheol-su looked around at the people, the backpacks, the arrangement. Good place, he said. We are staying. There is enough room, said Han-ul. Heard you. Cheol-su looked at him. Who are you? Class. Han-ul. Pause. Class unknown. Cheol-su smirked. Unknown. Yes. And what can you do, unknown? Han-ul looked at him. I know how to survive, he said, and I know this city better than you think. Is that all? For now, that is what I see from this. Cheol-su looked at him for several seconds, then stepped past him and went to the wall. Did not leave. Stayed but took a separate position with his 2. Watched. Han-ul returned to the second level. Ju-ho was waiting. Bore, said Ju-ho quietly. I saw. S-class. I know. He will be a problem. Tomorrow, said Han-ul. Not today. He has not decided yet. And tomorrow? Han-ul sat down. Tomorrow I will show him something. Something that will make him think twice. Pause. Or we will fight. One of the two. And if we fight, then we fight. Ju-ho looked at him. You say that calmly. Panic does not help, said Han-ul. You heard it yourself. Ju-ho snorted, then lay down on the concrete, closed his eyes. Concrete is hard, he said. It is normal for you now, said Han-ul. You have horn plates on your back? Pause. True, said Ju-ho in surprise. Yoon-ji, she sat by the wall with her eyes closed, smiled slightly. Night of the first day of the apocalypse. 22 people in the abandoned parking structure. Han-ul sat and looked at the entrance. Thought about tomorrow. About Cheol-su. About the 2 blocked skills in the system. About the fact that he still does not understand what it truly means to be a hybrid of himself. The system quietly blinked at the edge of his field of vision. Notification. Blocked skill will unlock under condition first real battle. Until unlocking unknown, Han-ul looked at the notification. Tomorrow then. He closed the notification. Looked at the night sky through the open span of the parking structure. First day of the apocalypse, he was not a rooster. He did not yet know who he was. But for the first time in 2 lives, he wanted to find out. Han-ul woke at 5:47, 13 minutes before dawn. He did not have the early rising skill from his first life, but the body itself knew. Or not the body, just the habit of 2 years of surviving on bird mode had sunk deeper than he thought. He sat up. The parking structure was quiet, gray in the pre-dawn light. 22 people slept however they could, some on a backpack, some directly on the concrete. The woman with her daughter in the corner, the girl curled up, her ears sticking out funny. Cheol-su and his 2 by the far wall. All 3 were not asleep. Cheol-su was looking directly at Han-ul. They looked at each other across the entire parking structure. Han-ul stood first. Not because he yielded, simply because he needed to move. He went down to the first level, went outside. Early morning of the second day, the city was different already. Quiet, not the way it is at night, but the way it is quiet after something big. Not deathly silence living, wary. Something was smoking in the distance. The birds were silent. Han-ul walked along the wall of the parking structure, activated sculpting slowly, experimentally. Not the arm, this time tried the legs. Thigh muscles, densification, growth, response almost instant. He took a stance, pushed off. The jump he had calculated for 1 meter got 2.5. Landed awkwardly, almost fell, kept his feet. Stood and looked at the place from which he had jumped. 2.5 meters, from 0 without a running start. Tried again now with understanding. Condensed the leg muscles completely, felt how the pressure in the joints changed, how the body became denser and heavier at the same time. Jumped. 3 meters 20. He crouched where he landed. Thought. Sculpting is not just muscle size, it is density, recoil, transfer of force. He could condense precisely only what was needed for a specific movement. Strike arm, jump legs, defense the entire surface of the body at once. He tried the latter, tensed. Sculpting evenly throughout the whole body slowly, layer by layer. The body became heavier, noticeably. The movement slightly slower, but each with a different feeling, as if every step left a mark in the ground. He hit himself on the forearm with his free hand sharply with normal force. Felt it softer than usual. Not no pain at all, but less. The muscle took the blow differently. Passive defense. The entire surface of the body armor made from itself. He removed the skill. The body returned to normal light, ordinary, sat right on the asphalt. In his head a scheme. Point attack plus overall defense. At the same time, these are different muscle groups. They do not conflict. You can hold one and the other in parallel. The question is how long to hold it. He did not know yet. He needed a fight. He returned to the parking structure at 6 in the morning. People were waking up. Yoon-ji was already awake, sitting and staring somewhere at the wall with the expression people have when they see more than is visible. What do you see? Han-ul asked quietly. She flinched slightly. Traces, she said. I see traces of people. those who walked here earlier. Pause. Is this track? Yes, it is strange. Not creepy, just a lot of information at once. You will get used to it, said Han Yul. Try to focus. Not everything at once, one trace, one person. She tried. He saw by her eyes how something changed, focused. There, she said, one trace. A man, heavy. Walked here several times during the night, approximately like this. She traced a route through the air with her hand. Han Yul looked in the direction she indicated. The wall opposite and Cheol-su standing by it, looking at them. He did not sleep, said Eunji. I know, said Han Yul. Cheol-su approached at 6:30. Han Yul had expected this, not because he remembered in the past life he did not see this beginning. Simply the logic was readable. S-class watches the first night, checks in the morning. Let us talk, said Cheol-su. Yes, said Han Yul. They stepped aside to the edge of the second level. An open span the street below. Morning air. Cheol-su was a head taller and twice as broad in the shoulders. The tusks had already formed overnight small, dense. The horn inserts on his arms had risen higher. He looked down at Han Yul from above. You gathered people, he said. They came on their own. But you received them. Yes. Why do you need a group, said Cheol-su. You are smart. Smart ones are usually loners. Smart ones know when they need others, said Han Yul. Or use others. Also an option. Cheol-su looked at him. Honest, he said. Not praise a statement. I try. You did not tell me your class yesterday, no. Will you tell me now? Will. Unknown, Han Yul repeated. The system did not determine the type. That does not happen. It does. I am the first case. Pause. The system wrote 0 specimen. Cheol-su was silent. Skills, he asked. I have them. Will you show me? No, said Han Yul. Cheol-su looked at him. You are not afraid of me, he said. Not a question. You are S-class, said Han Yul. I respect that. But fear is not useful right now. You think you can stop me? I think that if you want to kill me, I will have a good chance. Pause. But you will not want to? Why? Because you are smart, said Han Yul. Smarter than you pretend. He looked straight at him. You could have taken this place by force yesterday. You did not, which means you thought. Thought, which means you see further than one day. Silence. What are you offering, said Cheol-su. Nothing, said Han Yul. I am not a leader, and I do not claim to be. I am the one who knows what will happen in this city in the coming days. That is valuable. Pause. If you want to build something serious, you need that knowledge more than one more subordinate. Cheol-su looked for a long time. Information in exchange for what? For nothing, said Han Yul. The group stays alive, that is enough for me. You do not want power. No. Money. No. Then what do you want? Hanel thought for a second, not because he did not know, because he was formulating it precisely. I want to find something, he said, in this world, something more important than power and money. Pause. For that, I need to be alive and move freely. What exactly are you looking for? I do not know yet. Cheol-su looked at him for several seconds, then snorted, not mockingly, more with some brief respect. Fine, he said. We will see. He held out his hand. Han Yul shook it. The problem came at noon, not from Cheol-su from outside. Han Yul heard the noise before he saw it activated sculpting on his ears, enhanced them and heard voices in the street. Footsteps, many footsteps. This was not from memory of the past life. This did not happen, which meant something had changed. He walked to the edge of the second level, looked down. 7 people in the street. All transformed combat types, not F and not D. At least 2 B class. 1, judging by the size, A. They were walking toward the parking structure without hurry, with the look people have when they know they're taking something. In front was a woman. Short, with snake transformation, a gray-green pattern on her neck and arms, eyes vertical. She looked at the entrance of the parking structure as if it were her property. Han Yul Ju-ho said quietly from behind. See them? I see them. Do you know them? No. It was an honest answer. In the past life, this group had not been here. This was new. What do we do? Han Yul looked down. 7 people, combat types. They did not come to talk. We go down, he said. Me, you, Cheol-su. Everyone else stays upstairs. Will Yeol-su agree? Yes, he agreed quickly. Cheol-su saw them before Han Yul called him. He was already standing by the stairs. 7, said Cheol-su. I see them. Snake in front? A class at least. I know. Are you ready? Han Yul looked at his hands. The system notification from the night first real battle. Yes, he said. The 3 of them went down. The snake woman stopped at the entrance. She looked at the 3 of them slowly with the cold appraisal professional hunters use. Who is in charge? She asked, her voice quiet with a slight hissing shade. Depends on what, said Han Yul. She shifted her gaze to him. Unexpected answer. Honest, is the place occupied? Yes, then why talk? She moved her shoulder slightly behind her. Her 6 people took a small step forward. The stronger one occupies. That is the first rule of the new world. The second rule, said Han Yul, is that the one who survives tomorrow is the stronger one. She looked at him. Are you saying we will not survive? I am saying that a fight now means losses on both sides. The first day has only just passed. Losing people on the second is irrational. Rational, she said. That means you were afraid. No. Then prove it. And she jumped. Without warning, without finishing the conversation, she simply jumped. A class snake, her speed was different, not human. Hanul saw her movement, but his body reacted half a second later than it should have. A strike to the chest with an open palm. Thrown back. Hanul flew into the wall of the parking structure with his back concrete. Hard, the air burst out of his lungs sharply. He dropped to one knee. The woman stood 3 meters away. There is your answer, she said. Hanul straightened up. Slowly. In his head, not panic, not pain. Clarity. He activated sculpting not point by point. Everywhere at once. General mode, the body became dense, heavy, ready to receive. Then point by point in the legs. Maximum. He jumped. Not into attack to the side, an evasive move. 3.5 meters in an arc, landing light, the muscles absorbed it. The woman turned slightly more slowly than she herself had expected. He saw surprise in her eyes. Interesting, she said. She attacked again, a series. Fast, fluid, without unnecessary movements. Hanul did not try to parry, only moved away, each time activating jump through the muscles. Leg, torso, move aside. She clipped his left forearm. A glancing blow, not a direct one. The pain sharp. An immediately fast stitch. Automatically, without command, the skill triggered on its own. Han Eul felt the tissue begin to restore itself right during movement. Not instantly, but quickly. He stopped, looked at his forearm. The woman stopped too. Regeneration, she said. Yes, curious type. At that moment, the system. Condition fulfilled, first battle. Skill unlocked. Saturation. Absorption of the opponent's physical characteristics through direct contact, up to 18% of the difference in indicators. Temporary effect. Duration. Depends on the intensity of contact. Han Eul read the lines for a second. Absorption of characteristics through direct contact. The woman had hit him twice direct hits. Once he had flown into the wall. He looked at his hands. Something had changed, not outwardly. Inside. Lightness, speed of perception slightly different. As if the body had remembered something from her. She was A-class. He had taken 18% of the difference, meaning something from her speed, from the strength of her blow. Temporary, but now. Han Eul took a step forward. She watched. You still want to continue, she said. No, said Han Eul, it is no longer necessary. She frowned. What do you mean? I needed to get hit, said Han Eul. I got it. Pause. Thank you. Silence. The woman looked at him for several seconds, then laughed. Not loudly, briefly with some real surprise. First time, she said. What? First time someone thanked me for a hit. She looked at him with interest that had not been there before. What did you take? A little speed. Saturation. Yes. She knew the name of the skill, which meant she had heard of such a thing before. Rare, but not unique. You have more, she said. Yes, what else? I will show you if needed. She watched him for a long time, then turned to her 6 people. We hold, turned back. You said losses are irrational on the second day. Yes, I heard that. Pause. There is another place 2 blocks from here. A shopping center, big, closed. She looked straight ahead. But there is something inside. Several transformations, not people. Angry. Mutated animals, said Han Yul. From the pet store on the first floor. Several large dogs, possibly parrots, they mutate aggressively? The woman looked at him. How do you know? I know this city. Silence. If you help clear the place ours? Han Yul looked at her. Then at Cheol Su. Cheol Su gave a slight nod. One movement of the chin. Fine, said Han Yul. We go together. But the place is common. Not yours and not ours. Common, the woman thought. Name, she said. Ko Han Yul? Cha Mi-yeon, she said. Remember it. I will. They walked 22 people from the parking structure, plus 7 from Cha Mi-yeon, plus 3 from Cheol Su. Of the 22, he left most with Ju Ho, those who were not fighters, with them 2 more for guard duty. They walked quickly. Yoonji walked beside Han Yul. Red Traces was silent, but Han Yul saw how she was processing information. Ahead, she said suddenly. What? Traces, many. She narrowed her eyes. Large, not similar to human ones. How many? Hard to tell. 5. Maybe more. Good, said Han Yul, and raised his hand halt. The group stopped. The shopping center ahead, glass doors, dark inside, one door wide open. Han Yul activated sculpting on his ears slowly, carefully, quietly. Sounds from inside movement, heavy, rhythmic. Breathing large, not human. Something scratching on tile. 5 or 6, he said. Most likely large dogs. Transformed aggressive type. Class? Asked Cheol Su. C or B? They should have strengthened due to size. Han Yul looked at the entrance doors. The main thing is they are fast now. Not like ordinary dogs. Strategy? Asked Cha Mi-yeon. You have 2 fast ones, said Han Yul. You and he looked at her group. That one with the lynx type. Seo Hon, said Mi-yeon. Seo Hon see and you go in from the flanks. Force them to move to the center. He looked at Cheol Su. You are the center. Strike when they stop. And me with Ju Ho? Asked Cheol Su. Second perimeter. If anyone breaks through, put them down. You? I am between the first and second. Why? I need contact. Pause. Saturation. Cheol Su looked at him. You want to take characteristics from a dog. I want to see what is taken. That is risky. I know. Cheol Su thought for a second. Fine, he said. Mi-yeon listened to their exchange silently. When Han Yul finished, she only nodded. No comments. In the past life, I stood in back when others fought, watched. Now I am in the center of the scheme. Im So-yeon, the lynx of class who had stood by the wall all night, came up behind him. I am going with you, she said quietly. It is dangerous. I know. You have a solo skill you do not need to. I am going with you, she repeated, in the same tone. No discussion. Han Yul looked at her for a second. Fine, they went in. Dark only emergency lamps in the corners. Stores on the sides, glass broken, things scattered. Floor tiles with traces. Yeon-ji behind them read them aloud for the group. Quietly and quickly. Right flank, 2, large, moving. The first dog came out of the darkness on the right. Han Yul saw it and stopped. Not a dog, a hybrid. What had been a German shepherd was now 1.5 times larger, with dense dark fur and with something changed in the proportions, longer limbs, broader chest, eyes with a yellow glow in the darkness. The system above it, Han Yul saw out of the corner of his eye. Mutated hybrid Canis lupus familiaris class B. It jumped. So Yeon reacted first lynx, A-class, speed 3 times higher than human. She moved under the jump, struck the dog's side with the edge of her palm, not lethally, deflecting the trajectory. The dog landed farther left than it wanted. Han Yul was beside it. He caught contact hand on the animal's side, a second of direct touch. Saturation activation. He felt that he took speed, scent, reaction all at once. Temporarily 18% of the difference, but the difference was significant. The world sped up a little in perception. Smells sharper. He felt the other dogs even before they appeared. 3 on the right and 1 behind, he said. The group reacted. The battle unfolded quickly. Chael-Su in the center was exactly what Han Yul had counted on. S-Class Boar, first day of transformation and already able to stop the direct leap of a large B-Class hybrid with 1 movement. He caught the second dog in midair, threw it against the wall, not to death, stunned it. Mi-Yan worked differently, fluidly, briefly. Snake A-Class, she coiled around attacks, redirected blows. Her SEO Han Lynx, fast, finished what she diverted. The 6th dog, the largest, the one that had been hiding, came out from the grocery section and jumped straight at Han Yul. He did not manage to dodge saturation, gave speed, but not A-Class Lynx speed. He put up a block both arms, sculpting at maximum, body dense. The dog crashed into him with all its weight. Han Yul stayed on his feet by a miracle, shifted a meter, his legs carved a mark across the tiles. The pressure enormous. He held. So Yan was beside him a second later, strike to the animal's neck. Precise, professional. The dog went limp, not dead, unconscious. Han Yul exhaled. So Yan looked at him. You held, she said. Sculpting, he said. Entire torso dense. How long can you endure? I do not know yet. She nodded. The fight was ending. Chael-Su and Mi-Yan were finishing the last ones. 6 dogs, 3 unconscious, 2 running away. 1 Han Yul looked at the one lying unconscious beside him. Thought. Ate himself became himself. If he ate a dog, he pushed the thought away. Not now. First understand what is already there. Ju-Ho came up out of breath with horn plates raised from excitement. Everyone alive? Han Yul asked. 1 cut on Seo Han, said Ju-Ho. Not dangerous. The others are fine. Good. Han Yul, what? You caught a dog with your hands. Stopped it, Han Yul corrected. Same thing. No, it is the same thing. Ju-Ho looked at him. Do you know how that looked? Approximately. It weighed about 80 kilograms. I know, and you stayed on your feet, sculpting. That is not ordinary. Ju-Ho, said Han Yul. What? We will talk later. Han Yul swept his gaze across the shopping center. Now we clear the remaining floors, then we settle in. They cleared the shopping center by evening. 3 floors, 15 minutes for each, only small creatures in the corners. Nothing serious. Mi-Yan worked efficiently, her people knew their job. By 9 in the evening, the building was theirs. Large, with supplies grocery section on the first floor, pharmacy, household goods. There was a lot of water. Han Yul sat on the staircase of the second floor. The system he opened quietly, reviewed. 0 specimen status. Sculpting usage level, medium fast stitch usage level, initial saturation usage level, initial, blocked. Accumulated characteristics through saturation, speed, plus 7% temporary reaction, plus 5% temporary scent, plus 12% temporary, expires in 4 hours. He looked at the last line. Temporary, which meant it would disappear. But what if he took it again and again? What if there is a threshold after which temporary becomes permanent? He did not know. He had to try. Mi-Yan came over and sat beside him without asking. Simply sat. Looked at the same stairwell. You are looking into the system, she said. Yes. Something interesting? Questions, said he. Will there be answers? In time. She was silent for a while. Saturation is a rare skill, she said. I have heard of it. 1 person before the apocalypse, in some research center, they studied such mutations. Before the apocalypse? Yes. She looked at him. They knew what would happen. Han Yul looked straight ahead. This had not existed in the first life. Or it had, but I did not know. Who? He asked. I do not know, said Mi-Yan. But if you want answers, there is a place. What place? Quan Biotechnological Institute, eastern part of the city. Pause. I was going there before I found that parking structure. The smart ones went there, those who wanted to understand and not simply survive. Why did you not reach it? Too far alone. She looked at him. Now there are more of us, Han Yul thought. Quan Institute. I do not remember this from the first life. which means last time I never reached it. He looked at Mi-yeon. Tomorrow, he said. She nodded. Tomorrow, she agreed. Night of the second day of the apocalypse. The shopping center alive, filled with people. Somewhere on the first floor, Ju-ho was feeding that little girl with cat ears from a can. She was watching his horn plates with the professional interest of a 5-year-old scientist. Eunji was sitting by the window with her eyes closed, reading traces through the glass. Training. So Yeon at the door, alone, as always. Only now alone looked different. She had chosen the door in exactly that part of the corridor, from where Han Yul could be seen. He noticed it, said nothing. Cheol-soo on the 3rd floor, his territory. Not yet a conflict, but already a division. Normal. Han Ul lay on his back on the floor of the 2nd floor and looked at the ceiling. Thought about Kwon Institute, about the 4th block skill, about the fact that the body still remembered the dog's characteristic scent, speed for 4 more hours, about the fact that in the first life he lived 31 years and did nothing worth remembering, this time differently. The system quietly at the edge. Progress. Saturation accumulated 3 contacts. To the next skill level, 7 contacts. Han Yul closed the system, 7 contacts. Apocalypse, 2nd day. Apocalypse. Ahead Institute answers, strong enemies, and what he still does not know about himself. Good. He closed his eyes, fell asleep quickly like a person who has a plan. They set out on the morning of the 3rd day. Not with the whole group. Han Yul selected 6. Himself, So-yeon, Eunji, Mi-yeon, and 2 of Mi-yeon's people. A guy with wolf transformation named Kang Woo-jin, and a quiet woman with a smokescreen skill, B-class Baek Hye-ran. Cheol-soo stayed not because he did not want to, because Han Yul asked him to. You are needed here, said Han Yul. If the group is in danger while we are gone, only you will hold it. Cheol-soo looked at him. You are flattering me. No, just a fact. Pause. Come back alive, said Cheol-soo. You owe me information 3 days ahead. I will come back. Ju-ho walked them out at the exit. I want to go with you, he said. I know. But you are needed here. You are the 2nd strongest after Cheol-soo. That is flattery. No. Fact. Ju-ho looked at him. Han Yula. Yes. You are repeating yourself. I notice. Ju-ho snorted, moved away. But at the turn, he looked back. Come back. Yes, the eastern part of the city, farther from the center, quieter. Here, the transformations had gone differently, less chaos, more confusion. People stood by their homes and looked at their hands, at their neighbors, at the sky. There were fewer hybrids in the streets, and they were different. Not combat ones, mostly working types, D and C class. Gardeners with boar type, sturdy. An elderly woman with cat type sat by the entrance and watched birds. Normal people in an abnormal world. Eunji walked in red traces. They passed here recently, she said from time to time. Quickly. Organized, not a crowd, a group. Direction? Han Yul would ask. The same way as us. So Mi-yeon was not the only one who had heard about the Institute. Han Yul walked and thought. Mi-yeon walked to his right silently, at her own pace. The snake type gave her something in movement. She glided, did not step. Almost soundlessly. You said the Institute knew about the apocalypse, said Han Yul. Heard it. I do not know for sure. From whom did you hear it? My brother worked there. Pause. A year ago he quit, said he was leaving because he did not agree with the direction of the research. At the time I did not understand what that meant, and now you understand? I understand that he knew before I did. Her voice even, without strain. He is in the south now, I hope. You will find him. She looked at him. You say that confidently. I say it as it is. Silence. Han Il-si, said Mi-yeon. Yes, you said you already lived once. Pause, then what changed? Me? What exactly? Han Il thought for a second. In the first life I survived, he said. Simply survived. Did not ask why, did not search for something. Pause. Died and remembered nothing worthwhile. And now? Now I want to understand what I am, said he. Zero specimen. The system does not know what to do with that. He looked ahead. I do not know either. But I want to find out. Mi-yeon looked at him. Honest answer, she said. I try. Kwon Institute, a gray 5-story building on a distant street. Fence, gate closed. But the light in the windows worked a generator or its own power system. Alive. At the gate, 2 guards. Transformed. Combat 1 with bear type, 1 with eagle. They watched the approaching group. "Stop," said the eagle type. "We came to talk," said Han Yul. "With whom?" "With whom we need. With those who knew what would happen." Silence. The guards exchanged glances. Wait. One went inside. The other bear type watched the group without moving. So Yan stood beside Hanul quietly with the kind of calm very fast people have. Not tense ready. "If this is a trap," she said quietly. "Not a trap," said Hanul. "They need people like us." Data, specimens, information. They study transformations. We are interesting cases. So Yan thought. Then in their hands you are of value. They may fight over you. I know, and you still go in. To know means to control the situation. He looked at the gate. The one who knows what is wanted from him is already 1 step ahead. So Yan looked at him, said nothing, but stood a little closer. The guard returned after 3 minutes. "Come in, only 2. 3, said Hanul. 2 is the condition. 3 is my condition. He looked evenly. Or there's no conversation. Pause. The guard went away again, returned faster. 3. Hanul, Miyon, Soyon. The others stay outside. Wujin nodded. Understood, we wait. They went in, inside another world. Clean corridors, working light, smell of disinfectant. People in lab coats moving quickly, with papers, with tablets. Several military men by the stairs, and hybrids. Many of different types. But here they were not fighting. They walked calmly, talked to scientists, showed something, explained something. Han Yul looked. They had prepared in advance. Gathered those they needed. Corridor, elevator, 3rd floor. A large office with windows facing the street. Behind the desk a man about 50. Short in glasses with no visible transformation, or it was well hidden. He looked at the 3 who entered. Professional gaze, not hostile, assessing. Quan Gi Cheol, he said. Director of the Institute. Ko Hanul, said Hanul. I know, said Quan. Pause. From where? Hanul asked. We have monitoring across the city. Cameras still work. Quan pointed at the armchairs. Sit down. We have things to discuss. They sat Han Yul in the center, Mi Yon and So Yon at the sides. Quan looked at Han Yul. Zero specimen, he said. You know the term. We invented it. Quan took off his glasses, wiped them. Theoretically, we assumed that such a transformation was possible, but considered the probability close to 0. What exactly did you assume? That if a person at the moment of transformation consumes his own biological tissue, the virus will get a basis for a closed loop. Quan looked at him. The transformation will not be determined by external form, it will be determined by internal structure. Pause. Put simply, you became an enhanced version of yourself, not an animal. Yourself. Hanul listened. Ceiling? Theoretically none, said Quan simply. Silence. Explain, said Hanul. An ordinary hybrid is limited by its type. Tiger the power of a tiger, no more. It can level skills, but the frame is set by the species. Quan looked straight ahead. Your frame is human, and biologically a human has no species ceiling in our system. Pause. You can grow infinitely. Saturation, said Han Yul. Exactly. You absorb others' characteristics. Temporarily while the skill is weak, but over time the absorption will become partially permanent. Quan opened a folder. We modeled this type a year ago. The calculations show that at a high level, saturation stops being temporary. It begins to rewrite the base characteristics. Han Yul sat motionless. Absorption becomes permanent. Everyone I touch in battle becomes part of me. Why are you telling me this? He said. Quan looked at him. Because we have a problem, he said. And you may be the only solution. What problem? Quan stood up, walked to the window, looked at the street. The apocalypse is not accidental, he said. The transformation virus is artificial. It was created. Pause. And those who created it are now in this city. They are waiting for the world to rebuild itself under the new rules. And then they will take the top. Who? The group we call the Zeros, said Quan. They accepted the virus first voluntarily with full information, chose for themselves what to eat. The best. His voice even without emotion, like a man who had long accepted what he was saying. Their leader ate something that others do not have. What? Quan turned around. A human, he said. Alive, with active transformation, absorbed completely. Silence. He became what you could have become, but without the limitations of zero specimen, Quan continued. He did not simply absorb characteristics. He took everything's skills, type, level. Pause. His name is Zhang Yi, and he is now stronger than any living creature on this planet. Han Ul looked at him. You want me to stop him? I want you to grow enough so that you can choose, said Quan. Stopping him is your choice, not mine. Silence. Mi Yan sat motionless listening with a closed face. So Yan looked at Quan. Why is he waiting? Asked So Yan. If he is the strongest, why does he not act now? Because the world must rebuild itself on its own, said Quan. The hierarchy must form, people must get used to the new rules. Then the one at the top is not an invader. He is simply the strongest in the system that everyone accepted. How much time? Asked Han Yul. By our calculations, 3 months until he starts moving openly. 3 months. Yes. Han Yul looked at the table in front of him. In the first life, 3 months after the apocalypse, I was sweeping the market and they called me Rooster. Now. He raised his eyes to Quan. What can you give us in exchange? He said. Quan, for the first time in the conversation, smiled slightly. Knowledge, he said. Laboratory. Transformation data. And most importantly, he opened a desk drawer, took out a small container. Concentrated samples. Biological tissue of several rare species preserved. Suitable for consumption. Han Yul looked at the container. Saturation through samples, he said. Yes, weaker than direct battle, about a third of the effect. But without risk. Quan looked at him. We prepared them specifically for zero specimen. In case he appears. You were preparing for this scenario. We were preparing for several, said Quan. This one is our best. Han Eul looked at the container. Then at Quan. I do not work for you, he said. I understand, and I will not. I understand. I take the information and the samples. In exchange, we keep contact. I tell you what I see on the streets. You analyze it. Pause. That is all. Quan looked at him. That is all, he said. That is all. And Youngie? I will decide myself what to do with him, said Han Yul. When I am ready. Quan thought for several seconds. Fine, he said, held out the container. Han Yul took it. They left half an hour later with the container, with a folder of data Quan gave without extra words, and with a city map on which points of interest were marked. In the corridor, Mi Yan touched Han Ul's sleeve. A second. They lagged a few steps behind So Yan. Do you believe him? Mi Yan asked quietly. Partially. What is true? Yanggi is most likely true, said Han Yul. Such a type exists. I saw something similar in the past life. I just did not know the name. Pause. Quan is also true. He really studied this. The data is real. What is false? He says, I am the only solution. Han Yul looked at the corridor ahead. That is a convenient story to keep me moving in the needed direction. So I go my own way. Quan gets data from me. I get samples from him. Honest exchange. Pause. Zhang Yi we will see in 3 months. Mi Yan looked at him. You are not afraid of him. I am afraid, said Han Yul simply. Very. Pause. But fear is not useful. Mi Yan looked at him for a second, then laughed quietly. Briefly with some real sound. You are saying that for the 3rd time already, she said. Truth does not lose strength from repetition. They caught up with So Yan. Outside, Wu Jin and Hai Ran were waiting at the gate. So Yan came out first, looked around habit, she always checked the perimeter, and stopped. Han Eul see. What? Traces, said So Yan. Not me, Yonji see, should be the one to see them. But I can see them even without the skill. Han Eul walked over, looked. On the asphalt by the gate traces, fresh, large, not human and not canine. Something in between. 4 points of support but with a human stride. Wide. Heavy. Someone was watching us, said Wu Jin. Yes, said Han Yul, and left. Recently? He looked at the traces. Quan said Zhang Yi is waiting 3 months. Maybe not Zhang Yi, said Mion. Maybe, Han Yul agreed. Or Quan lied about the 3 months, said So Yan. Han Yul looked at the traces, then opened the container. One sample, small. Biological tissue, sealed. He did not know whose it was. No time to be careful. He opened the sample, took a small amount. The system responded at once. Saturation. Sample absorption type. Unknown data classified by institute effect, plus 9% speed 3 hours, plus 6% reaction 3 hours. Note, sample incomplete effect reduced, classified by institute. Han Yul looked at the line. Quan gave the sample but hid whose it was. Interesting, he said quietly. What? Asked So-yeon. Quan is not as open as he seems, said Han Yul, but for now an ally. He put the container away. Let us go. Where now? Han Yul looked at the traces one last time. Back to our people, he said. We need to tell them what we learned, and we need to train. Pause. 3 months is not much. They walked. So-yeon walked beside him like yesterday, like this morning. Beside him, not behind, not ahead. Han Yul noticed, said nothing, but marked something. They returned to the shopping center by noon. Ju-ho met them at the entrance, saw their faces, and immediately, "Bad news? Mixed," said Han Yul. "That is worse than bad." Yes. He gathered those who were needed: Cheol-su, Ju-ho, Yoon-ji, and 2 of the older ones from Mi-yeon's group. Told it briefly, without extras. The Institute, Quan, Zhang-gi. 3 months. Silence. Cheol-su first. Zhang-gi. He absorbed a living hybrid. Yes, how many people has he absorbed? Unknown. All skills other people's? Yes. Then he is unpredictable, said Cheol-su. No one knows what he has. Exactly. 3 months is little. I know. What do we do? Han Yul looked at the group. Grow, he said. Everyday training. Fights among ourselves controlled, not to the death. I need contacts for saturation. You need to level your skills. Pause. Plus we look for strong ones outside the group, those who are loners now but could be with us. Recruitment? Asked Wu Jin. Not recruitment, an offer. The difference is important. Cheol-su looked at him. You are not the leader, he said. You say so yourself. Yes, but you talk like a leader. I talk like a person with a plan, said Han Yul. You are the leader if you want. I do not need that status. Cheol-su looked for a long time. Fine, he said. I am the leader. You are the advisor. Works for you. Then advise. We start with training this evening, said Han Yul. Second floor, there is space. First pair me and So-yeon SSE. So-yeon by the wall slightly raised an eyebrow. Why am I first? Because you are a class and faster than everyone except Mi-yeon-si. Han Yul looked at her. I need speed. A lot of it. Saturation. Yes? So Yeon looked at him. You want me to hit you? Yes, for a long time, as long as needed. Silence. Fine, said So-yeon. In the corner, Ju-ho leaned toward Yoon-ji and quietly said something. She answered even more quietly. Both looked at Han Yul. He pretended not to notice. Evening of the 3rd day. Second floor, the space between the stores. The display cases removed, the place cleared. Han Yul stood in the center, so Yeon opposite him, the others by the walls. Not all, only those who wanted to watch. Almost everyone came. Rules, said Han Yul. You move freely, do not hold back your speed. I defend and evade, I need direct contact. Pause, not lethal. I understand, said So-yeon. Ready? Yes. She moved. Han Yul saw it and did not make it in time. A class lynx at full speed that was something fundamentally different. He saw the direction, saw the trajectory. The body did not manage to react fast enough. First hit to the shoulder. He did not fall. Sculpting held, but he was thrown back a meter. Second to the side, more painful. The third he caught. Not with skill, he put up a block in the last fraction of a second. Arm against arm. Contact for a second. Saturation. Plus 7% speed, plus 5% reaction temporarily. He evaded the 4th hit. Not completely, but a third better than before. So Yon stopped, looked at him. You got faster. Saturation works. Does it accumulate? Yes. Each contact a little more. Then, said So-yeon, I need to hit you more often. Yes, and harder, preferably. She looked at him for a second. You are a strange person, Ko-han-yul. I know. That is not bad. She attacked again. 1 hour of training. By the end, Han-yul was moving noticeably differently. Not like So-yeon, there was still a long way to go. But the difference from the beginning was obvious. His evasions had become more precise. Reaction faster. The system after training, saturation. Update contacts accumulated. 14 skill reached level 2. Change, temporary effect, partially becomes fixed. Fixed characteristics, speed plus 3% permanent, reaction plus 2% permanent. Han-yul looked at the line. Small numbers, but permanent. Now his. Quan had been right. Over time, every battle, every contact, every sample from the container would leave a mark. Forever. In 3 months. He sat on the floor, leaned against the wall. So-yeon beside him. Not close, but beside him. How are you? She asked. Fine, he said. Fast Stitch closed everything over the training. I saw. Pause. It is useful you can take hits others cannot. Yes, that is the whole point, she thought. Han-il-si. Yes, you said you are looking for something in this world? Yes, do you still not know exactly what? He looked at the ceiling. I am beginning to understand, he said. What? I want to see how far this skill can go, he said. 0 specimen, without a ceiling. Pause. In the first life, I was always at the bottom by someone else's classification. Rooster, F class, nobody. He looked upward. I want to know what is up there. Not to rule, just to know. So Yon listened. And one more thing, he added quietly. What else? I want those who are beside me to survive, he said. All of them. Pause. In the first life, I did not have time to truly get to know anyone. I died alone. Silence. So Yon looked at the same point on the ceiling. I was alone too, she said. Before this. Pause. Link's solitary hunter. The skill is tailored for that. Quietly. But skill and person are different things. Han-yul looked at her. She looked at the ceiling. So, Yon-si. Yes, thank you for the training. Again tomorrow, she said. Yes? Silence. The good kind that does not need filling. 3 months. Han-yul did not know in detail what would happen in the past life. He had not seen this, had not lived like this. But he knew the main thing. Jang-gi would come. The world would rebuild itself under his rules if nothing changed. And Ko-han-yul 0 specimen, without a ceiling, with sculpting and saturation, and 2 more still blocked slots, sat on the floor of the shopping center on the 3rd day of the apocalypse, beside a lynx who hit him every evening so that he would become faster. A snake who knew about the Institute what no one else knew. A deer who read traces and became better every hour. A bull who broke a lock and was surprised at himself. An S-class boar who agreed to be called leader only because Han-yul asked him. Good group. We will see in 3 months. The system quietly, 4th. Skill unlock condition required. Absorb characteristics of 5 different hybrid types. Accumulated 2 of 5, 3 more. Han-yul closed the system. Outside the window the night of the apocalypse, the 3rd. Somewhere in the city, Jang-gi, waiting. And Han-yul was not waiting. He was preparing. 7 days after the apocalypse. The shopping center had become a base, not temporary, real. Cheol-su organized perimeter security. 3 shifts, 4 people each. Wu Jin took a map and marked patrol routes. Wolf type gave him scent and speed. The patrols worked quickly. On the 3rd day, more people came on their own, by rumors. The group became 40 people. On the 5th, 62. Han-yul did not deal with organization that was Cheol-su's matter. He dealt with something else. Every morning training with So-yeon. An hour, sometimes an hour and a half. Every day 1 sample from Kwan's container. Small, slow, partial effect, but permanent after accumulation. Every evening a conversation with Eun-ji. She told him what she saw with the track skill routes in the city. Movement of groups, where the strong were, where the weak were. The best reconnaissance one could imagine. By the 7th day, the system. 0 specimen status. Sculpting level 2, fast stitch level 2. Saturation level 3, blocked 3/5 types. Permanent characteristics through saturation. Speed, plus 11%. Reaction, plus 8%. Strike force, plus 6%. Scent, plus 4%. Small growth but permanent. Every percent forever. Han Yul looked at the numbers and thought of one thing. 3 months is 90 days. 7 had passed. 83 remained. On the 7th day, Yunji came to him with a different look, not thoughtful but tense. Han Ol Si. Yes, I saw traces. She unfolded a piece of paper, a hand sketch, a map of the district. Here every day the same route. One person? But the nature of the trace is strange. Strange how? Too light. She pointed at the sketch. An ordinary person presses on the heel. Hybrids press differently depending on the type. This one barely presses, as if half the weight. Good speed and lightness, said Han Yul. Yes, and the trace is always at the same distance from us. She looked at him. He is watching. Every day. He is. Does not come closer, just watches? Han Yul thought. One person, he said. Yes? Not Yang Gi, he would not hide. Pause. A loner. He watches us, which means he is either afraid or evaluating. Or both. Yes. Han Yul looked at the map. Tomorrow morning, can you trace the route to the point from which he is watching? Yes, then tomorrow we go. Morning of the 8th day. Yunji led confidently, following the trace only she could see. Han Yul behind her, So Yeon closing. They moved quietly. Eastern District, residential buildings, morning few people in the street. Those who were there looked wary but not hostile, getting used to the new world. Yunji stopped at an old building, a 5-story block, Soviet type, with an overgrown yard. He watched from here, she said quietly. Is he there now? She closed her eyes. Read. He was here this morning, about an hour ago. Pause. Went that way. She pointed to an alley. Han Ul activated saturation through scent small, accumulated. Sniffed. The smell fresh, human, with something sharp. Not aggressive. Different. Here, he said. The alley was short, dead end. At the end, a figure by the wall. Sitting on its haunches, back to them, looking at the wall. Han Il approached. Hey. The figure did not flinch, knew they were here. Turned around. A girl. 19, maybe 20. Short, with dark hair gathered carelessly. Transformation light, almost invisible. Skin a little paler than normal. Veins on the arms with a bluish tint. Pupils slightly dilated. Han Yul looked at her. System at the edge. Hybrid type unknown class. A unknown. You were watching us, he said. Yes, she said. Simply. Why? I was checking whether it was worth coming closer. And? She looked at him. It is worth it, she said. You are 0 specimen. How do you know? I eat people, she said evenly. Silence. So Yan behind Hanel tensed. He could feel it. Eat people, he repeated. I do not kill them, the girl clarified. A small amount of biological tissue blood, cells. She looked at her hands. I transformed into a virus. Pause. More precisely into a carrier of the transformation virus. I am source type. Hanul looked at her. You absorb information about other transformations. Yes? She looked at him. You are the most interesting case of all I have seen. 0 specimen. I heard that such a thing is theoretically possible. I wanted to make sure. Did you? Yes. She stood up. My name is Lee Sa-yeon, Kohanul, he said. I know. What do you want, Lee Sa-eun-si? She looked at him directly, her gaze not hostile, not pleading. Even, with some kind of tired curiosity. I want to be where things are interesting, she said. Alone is boring. Pause. You are interesting. That is all? That is enough. Han-ul looked at her, then turned to So-yeon. So-yeon looked at Sa-eun with that still gaze a lynx uses when looking at something unclear. She is telling the truth, said So-yeon. By the movements. I know, said Han Yul. Looked at Sa-eun. Source type, he said. You can read other people's transformations? Yes, accurately. Accurately. Jangi, do you know anything about him? Sa-Yun changed expression for the first time. Not much, just a little. Something dark passed through. I have heard the name, she said. What did you hear? That he is the same as me. Source type but absorbs completely. Does not read takes. Pause. We are opposites. I read without destroying. He takes by destroying. Was he looking for you? Long pause. Yes, she said quietly. That is why I am alone. That is why I was hiding. She looked at Han Yul. For him, a source is the best prey. If he absorbs me, he will gain the ability to read everyone. To know everything about any hybrid. And you came to us. It is harder to hide alone, she said. With you, the chance is better. Han Yul looked at her for a long time. In the first life, I did not know such people. Did not meet them. Lived in my small radius and swept the market. Now it is different. Come, he said. Sa-Yun entered the group quietly without extras. Cheol-Su looked at her with a question Han Yul explained briefly. Cheol-Su nodded without objection. If you say she is needed, then she is needed. Sa-Yeon did not participate in training. Her skill was not directly combat. But every evening she came to Han Yul and said what she had seen during the day. That one with the eagle type, she would say. He has the far sight skill sees for a kilometer. But there is a side effect when activated, he loses peripheral vision. Blind spot from the side. Does Kang Woo Jin know? Not yet. Tell him tomorrow. I will. Or Baek Hai Ran. Her smokescreen is not just smoke. I looked closer. There are particles in the smoke that temporarily block the system and those inside it. Small effect, but there is one. Does she know? No. Good. We will work with that. Sa-Yeon gave information exact, useful. Not only about their own people, about outsiders too. When new groups entered the city, she went to look, returned with a report. On the 12th day, she came differently. Han Yul saw at once something in the way she entered. Faster than usual. More tense. Sa-Yun see. I saw a person, she said, in the south of the city. And? Not a person. She sat down. A hybrid, but the type erased. The system above him empty. No class, no skills, no type. Pause. As if someone had cleaned everything out from inside. Han Yul looked at her. Zhang Gi absorbed him, he said. Yes. She looked at her hands. Such a person lives, walks, speaks. But the system is gone. No skills. The transformation is there. The body changed, but everything valuable inside is gone. Quietly, he had been B class. Silence. How many like that have you seen? Han Yul asked. 3, said Sa-Yun. Over the last 3 days. Then Zhang Gi is active. Yes, he is not waiting 3 months. No. Han Yul stood up, walked around. Quan was wrong or lied. Zhang Gi is not waiting. He is working quietly. Not openly, not on a large scale, but every day he is absorbing someone, gaining strength. He looked at Sa-Eun. Can you find him? She thought. I can try, she said. He leaves a trace in the people he absorbed. I can feel that trace. Pause. But if I find him, he will feel me too. Source sees source? Then it is too early, said Han Yul. Yes. She looked at him. You are not ready yet. I know, said he without offense. How much time is needed? I do not know exactly. He looked at the system in his head. Saturation level 3. Need level 5 at minimum. The 4th skill is still blocked. I need 5 types. I have 3. 2 types left? Yes. Then, said Sa-Yun, I know where to find them. The next day, she led him to a market, not the first one they had emptied on the first day. Another one spontaneous, formed by itself on a large square. People traded food, water, information, hybrids of different types, a crowd. Over there, said Sa-Eun quietly. See the man at the far table? Yes, jellyfish type. Rare marine. He ended up here by accident. A tourist, was by the sea before the apocalypse. Pause. He has an electric discharge skill. Dangerous in battle, that is the 4th type for me. Yes, is he peaceful? Trades food. Very peaceful. Sa-Yun looked at Han Yul. I can take a sample of his tissue without his knowing a tiny drop. He will not feel it. I will bring it to you. No, she was slightly surprised. Why? Because it is his tissue, said Han Yul. Without consent, no. Sa-Yun looked at him. You do not have to. I know I do not have to. He was already walking toward the man. I will ask. The man at the table, about 40, with somewhat translucent skin on his hands, with strange calm in his eyes, looked at Han Yul when he approached. How can I help? I want to offer an exchange, said Han Yul. I have the saturation skill. I need contact with different types of transformations. I take a small portion of characteristics temporarily. Pause. In exchange, food, water, a place in a protected base if needed. The man listened. What do you mean take a portion? He asked cautiously. You will lose nothing, said Han Yul. Small contact hand to hand. I temporarily gain part of the speed or strength. For me, it accumulates over time. It does not affect you. Does it hurt? No, the man thought. My name is Pak Tai Sik, he said. Ko Han Ul. Is your base large? 60 people. Security, supplies. I have a family, said Tai Sik. Wife and son. There will be room. Tai Sik held out his hand. Han Yul shook it and activated saturation. Jellyfish-type marine, bioelectric. What he took he felt at once. Not speed, not strength. Something else, a light tingling under the skin. Awareness of the electric field around, as if the air had become slightly more readable. Saturation contact type added jellyfish bioelectric. Total unique types, 4 of 5-1 remained. Deal, said Han Yul. The 5th type appeared on its own on the 21st day. The group was patrolling the district when So Yan stopped everyone with a gesture. There, she said. In the alley, a creature. Not human anymore, a hybrid, but the transformation wild, unlike the people from the market. Feathers, sharp features, claws. The system above him, Han Yul, looked Class A type, Phoenix. Phoenix? That does not happen, said Wu Jin quietly. It does, said Han Yul, rarely. Someone ate something we do not know and got a mythological type. Is that possible? The apocalypse system is deeper than it seems, said he. Not only real animals. Not only... The Phoenix looked at them with the wildness that belongs to people who have lost themselves in transformation. Not aggressive, bewildered. Literally burning, with a light fire along the edges of the silhouette. Han Yul stepped forward. Stop, said So Yon. He will not attack. He is burning. He is scared. Han Yul walked slowly, without abrupt movements. Not of us of himself. The Phoenix looked at him, the fire slightly brighter. Hey, said Han Yul quietly. Are you still there? Silence. Then a voice. Hoarse, uncertain. Yes, pause. I am here. Been transformed long? I do not know. The voice young? Several days. I cannot control the fire. I'm afraid to set things on fire. I understand. Han Yul stopped a meter away. Name? So, Min-chan. Han Yul. Pause. Min-chan, nah, did you eat anything special before the transformation? Silence. Roast bird. In a Korean restaurant. The owner said the bird was rare, brought from the south. I did not ask what exactly. Rare bird from the south. Somewhere there was a real phoenix or something the system counted as one. Fine, said Han Yul. Will you come with us? I am dangerous. The fire... We will teach you control, said Han Yul. We have a person who is good with skills. Pause. You do not want to be alone. Min-chan looked at him. No, he said quietly. I do not. Then come. He held out his hand open, palm upward. Min-chan looked at it, then cautiously, slowly touched it with his own. The fire did not burn. Warm, alive. Saturation activation, saturation contact. Type added, Phoenix heat/regenerative. Total unique types, 5 of 5. Condition fulfilled. 4th skill, unlocked. Imprint, storage of absorbed characteristics in permanent form without temporary limitation upon repeated contact with the same type. Twice or more, Han Yul read the lines. Imprint, repeated contact with the same type permanent. Not temporary percentages that melt away in hours. Permanent forever with sufficient repetition. He looked at Min-chan. Phoenix regenerative type. If imprint takes part of that permanently, permanent regeneration on top of fast stitch. He pushed the thought away. Not now. First understand what he has, then plan. Come, he said. Evening of the 21st day. The base was no longer 60 people, 87. The shopping center was large, there was still enough room for now. Min-chan sat in the corner of the first floor, the fire dimmed, almost not burning now. Beside him, Ju-ho, who had discovered that the new person was afraid of himself and decided that was his territory to calm him. "You are just burning," Ju-ho was saying. "That is normal. I broke 3 chairs with my horn plates before I learned." 3 chairs? I sat down without calculating the weight. Ju-ho shrugged. "You get used to it." Han Yul watched them from the corridor. Footsteps behind. He knew those footsteps. "The 4th skill," said Sayun. "Yes, imprint. I can see it on you. The system changed. Yes." She stood beside him. "Now what?" "Now we work with imprint," said Han Yul. "I need repeated contacts. Each type not once. Many times." Pause. "So, Yon Si, first we have trained every day for 3 weeks already. There should be enough accumulated with her. Will you check today?" "Yes." He found So-yeon on the roof. She often sat there in the evenings. Looked at the city. Went up. So-yeon see. Yes, a new skill unlocked. He sat beside her. Imprint with repeated contact characteristics become permanent. She looked at him. "You want to test it on me?" "Yes." "How many contacts were there over 3 weeks?" "About 130 direct ones." "Is that enough?" "We will see." She held out her hand. He took it and activated imprint together with saturation. He felt the difference at once. Not like usual, a light superficial capture, deeper, as if something were taking root, stitching itself into the structure. System: imprint activation. Type: links. A class contacts accumulated. 131 threshold for permanent imprint. Reached permanently recorded. Speed plus 19%. Reaction plus 14%. Visual sharpness plus 11%. Silence of movement plus 8%. Han Yul read the lines. So-yeon looked at him. "What?" she asked. "It works," he said quietly. 19% speed permanently. From an A-class links. He stood up and felt it. Not dramatically, not instantly, but the body responded differently. Slightly faster, not like a flash of a skill, but as a base. As if he had always been a little faster and had simply forgotten. "You changed," said So-yeon. "Yes, I will hit you for 3 more weeks and you will become even faster?" "Yes." She looked at him. "Good," she said. Pause. "So-yeon Essie." "Yes, thank you." She looked at the city. "You already said thank you," she said. "I am saying it again." Silence. "Hein LC," she said. "Yes. When this ends the apocalypse, Janggi, everything, where will you go?" Han Yul thought. "I do not know," he said. "I have not thought that far. Think about it." "And you?" She was silent for a long time. "I do not know," she said finally. "I have not thought either." Silence. The city below, lights here and there, darkness in most places. Alive, different, unfamiliar. But alive. "Then we will see together," said Han Yul. So-yeon looked at him for a second, then back at the city. But something in her shoulders lowered. Slightly, barely noticeable. 40 days after the apocalypse. The shopping center, 112 people. Han Yul had long since stopped counting the days until Janggi. He simply worked every day. Training, imprints, reconnaissance through Eunji and Seiyun, negotiations with new groups through Cheol-su. By the 41st day, the system, 0 specimen status. Sculpting level 3, fast stitch level 3, saturation level 4, imprint level 2, permanent imprints, links. So-yeon, speed plus 19%, reaction plus 14%, visual sharpness plus 11%. Phoenix Min-chan, heat resistance plus 15%, regeneration plus 9%. Jellyfish Tae Sick, electrosensitivity plus 7%. Not a god yet, far from it. But not the student who fell from bed in pain on the first morning. On the 42nd day, Kwon made contact. Not personally through a courier, a note, short. The data changed. Janggi accelerated. "Come," Han Yul showed the note to Mi-yeon. "Is it a trap?" she asked. "No," said Han Yul. "Kwon fears Janggi more than us." Pause. "We go tomorrow. I am with you." "I know." So-yeon at the door had heard. "Me too," she said. Sayun raised her hand without words. Han Yul looked at their faces. In the first life, I went everywhere alone. No one said me to. Fine, he said. Fine. Tomorrow morning. Quan Institute was different from 40 days ago. More security. New fortifications at the gate. The people inside moved faster, with that nervousness that comes when something changes and everyone feels it, but does not say it. Quan was waiting in the same office, but he himself was different. Had aged a year and 40 days. Sit down, he said. They sat. Yang Gi absorbed 6 over the last 2 weeks, said Quan without preface. Among them 1 S-class. Silence. S-class, said Han Yul. Yes, Lion Hybrid, from the south of the city, the strongest in his district. Quan looked at the table. He absorbed him in 1 contact. How? He grew, said Quan quietly. Faster than we thought. Pause. Our calculations were wrong. 3 months is when he will start moving openly. But even now, he is possibly the strongest living hybrid on this continent. Silence. How much time do you have? Sayun asked. Quan looked at her. You are source, he said. Yes. Does he know you are here? No, said Sawun. I shield myself. For now, I can. For now, repeated Quan. That is the key word. He stood, walked to the wall where there was a map. Jianggi is here now. Southwestern District. Large building closed. He does not move, just exists. Pause. But those he absorbed walk around. Do something for him. We do not know what. Preparing a base, said Han Yul. Probably. Or training, said So Yon. Also probable. Han Yul looked at the map. Southwestern District. 4 kilometers from the shopping center. Quan Sesai, he said. Yes. You said 40 days ago that you had samples. That you prepared them for 0 specimen. Yes. How many are left? Quan opened a desk drawer. A container larger than the first. Han Yul looked. 20 samples, said Quan. Rare types, some unique. Pause. I kept them in case you came back. Why did you keep them? Quan looked at him. Because you are the only one who can use them correctly, he said. And because you are the only one who asked permission from the trader in the market before taking. Silence. Han Yul looked at him. You watched. Cameras, said Quan simply. I watched how you grew. 40 days. He held out the container. Take it. No conditions this time? Han Yul took it. Quan Se. Yes, when Jianggi starts moving, he will come here too. I know. Are you ready? Quan took off his glasses, rubbed them. Put them back on. No, he said honestly. We are not a combat facility. Pause, but we have knowledge. And if you win, that knowledge will be useful to understand what happened and why. And if we do not win? Quan looked at him. Then it will not matter, he said quietly. They left in silence. Outside, Mi-yeon stopped. 20 samples, she said. Yes, how much time do you need to absorb all of it? Depends on the types. Han Yul held the container. Some 1 time is enough for saturation. For imprint, more is needed. 20 samples plus live contacts every day, said Mi-yeon. How much in total then? If I work every day 2 weeks, maybe 3. Then Jianggi? Han Yul looked at the container. Then we will see what I have become, he said, and decide. Sayun walked beside him and was silent, but Han Yul felt that she was thinking. Electrosensitivity from the jellyfish gave a strange side effect. He began to sense the emotional fields of people nearby, weakly and distinctly. But Sayun was anxious now, not for him, for something of her own. Sayun Si, he said. Yes, something is wrong. She looked at him in surprise. How did you... Electrosensitivity, said Han Yul. Weakly, but I feel it. She was silent for a while. He is closer than Quan thinks, she said quietly. Jianggi? Pause. I feel his trace. 4 kilometers is where he lives. But his presence is wider. He is already scanning the city, looking for something. He is looking for you. Or for you, she said, Han Yul thought. How much time until he finds us? I do not know. Sayun looked ahead. Maybe days, maybe a week. Not enough for 20 samples. No? Silence. So Yan walked beside them listening. Then we hurry, she said simply. Han Yul looked at her. Yes, he said, and walked faster. The container with 20 samples in his hand, 4 permanent imprints in his body, 4 skills in the system, and somewhere in the southwestern district Yanggi, who had absorbed an S-class in one contact. There was little time, 12 days. That was how much they had, not 3 weeks, not a month. 12 days until Sa-eun entered Hanul's room and said one word. He is coming. During those 12 days, Hanul did not sleep properly even once. Samples every morning methodically. 1, sometimes 2. Saturation, then imprint, wait for accumulation. Contact again, again and again. Live contacts every evening. So-yeon Min-chan, Tai-sik, Woo-jin. Mi-yeon agreed once silently without questions, simply held out her hand. The snake imprint was special fluidity and movement, the ability to feel vibration through surfaces. Han-ul walked and heard people's footsteps in the neighboring rooms through the floor. By the 10th day, the system, 0 specimen status. Sculpting level 4, fast stitch level 4, saturation level 5, maximum imprint level 3, active permanent imprints, 9 speed, total plus 61% regeneration total, plus 44% physical density, total plus 38%. Sensory systems total plus 29%. Han Yue looked at the numbers for a long time, then closed the system and went outside. The night quiet with a light wind. He walked along the wall of the shopping center quickly without thinking, and stopped at the corner. Jumped onto the roof. Not by the stairs, simply jumped. Activated sculpting on his legs and jumped, the roof 3 stories up. He landed softly, almost without a sound. Stood there alone. Looked at the city. 61% speed above base. 44 regeneration. 38 density. In the first life, I was an F-class rooster with the early rising skill. Now what? He did not know what to call himself. The system gave no class, only 0 specimen, only question marks. Maybe that was right. Maybe no name was needed. Footsteps behind light, almost silent. I am not asleep, said So-yeon. She came onto the roof not by jumping, through the roof hatch by the stairs, came closer, stood beside him. I heard, he said. Liar. I walked quietly. Vibration through the roof. He did not look at her. Snake imprint. She was silent for a while. Tomorrow he will come. Yes. Sa-yeon said so. Are you ready? Hanul thought. Honestly thought not, like in front of people, not to seem confident. Just thought. I do not know, he said. Good. Why is that good? Because the one who says he is ready for an S-class who absorbed a lion is either lying or does not understand. Said, So-yeon, you understand. That is better. Han-il looked at her. She looked at the city. So-yeon, SC. Yes, you asked where I would go when this ends. You did. I came up with an answer. She looked at him. Nowhere, he said. I will stay here. I will see what can be done with this city. Pause. With the people who are here. So-yeon looked at him for a long time. Me too, she said. Not a question, not an offer. Simply a fact. Hanul nodded. Morning of the 11th day. Sa-yeon came in to him. One word. He is coming. He came alone. Hanul had expected an army of those Janggi had absorbed, those with the cleaned-out systems. He came alone. In ordinary clothes, dark jacket, jeans. Not tall, calm. About 35 years old. Stopped at the entrance to the shopping center. Looked. Hanul went out to him, also alone. That was the agreement. Kreol-su did not want it. So-yeon did not want it. Mi-yeon was silent, which in itself was disagreement. But he insisted. Janggi type absorber. In a crowd, he is twice as dangerous. Contact with anyone gives him strength. One-on-one, at least it is clean. They stood 5 meters apart. Han-eul looked at him. The system, it was silent. Above Janggi emptiness. Like above those 3 with cleaned-out systems whom Sa-eun had seen. Only the opposite, not emptiness, because it had been taken. Emptiness because there was too much of everything the system could not classify it. Ko-Han-eul, said Janggi, voice ordinary, calm. Janggi, said Han-eul, you knew I would come. Yes, and you stayed anyway. Yes. Janggi looked at him with interest, real, not theatrical. 0 specimen, he said. I heard that such a thing is theoretically possible. Pause, you bit yourself. Yes, accidentally or intentionally. Accidentally, said Han Yul, said Han. Could not think of anything better. Zhang Yi smiled slightly. First time, honestly. He looked at Han Yul. You know I am here for the source. I will not give Sa Yun Sai up. I know. That is why I came to you first. Zhang Yi took one step slow. You are more interesting. Zero specimen with imprint and saturation, that is rare. That is almost never. Pause. If I take you, I do not even need the source. Try. Zhang Yi looked at him. You are not afraid. I am afraid, said Han Yul. I am saying for the third time fear is not useful. And attacked first, sculpting maximum. Whole body dense, heavy, ready. Speed 61% above base in the legs, in the arms. Right punch straight. Zhang Yi moved aside. Not like a human like water. The movement was Han Yul saw it, but Zhang Yi's body simply flowed around the strike. Absorbed skills, there was everything. Speed, fluidity, reflexes of dozens of people. Counterstrike to the torso. Sculpting held, but something cracked inside. Han Yul flew back 4 meters, landed on his feet. Link's imprint triggered automatically. Balance. Stood up. Fast stitch ribs. The crack was closing, slowly, not instantly. Zhang Yi stood and looked. Good, he said. You can take a hit. More, said Han Yul. Why? Zhang Yi looked at him calmly, almost with concern. You understand the difference between us. I absorbed an S class. You have B and A imprints. That is the ceiling right now. I know. Then why? Because behind me there are 112 people, said Han Yul. And because I already died once. Pause. Boring. Zhang Yi looked at him for a long time. Then something changed in his face. Not anger, something like weariness. Do you know what I do to those I absorb? Said Zhang Yi. Yes, Sa Yun-si told me. It cleans out the system. They live but empty. Do you know why? No. Because they no longer have fear, said Zhang Yi quietly. No skills, nothing to fear, nothing to compete for. Pause. I thought that was freedom. Thought? Zhang Yi looked at him. They are unhappy, he said. They do not die unhappy. Pause. I did not expect that. Silence. Han Eul stood and looked at him. That was not what I expected to hear. You started to doubt, he said. No. Zhang Yi moved again, more slowly. I came here because you are different. Zero specimen absorbs without destroying. Takes without taking away. He stopped 2 meters away. I want to understand how, if you want to ask. There was no need to come with a threat. Was I threatening? You came for Sa Eun-si. I said I came for her. Pause. I did not say I would take her. Silence. Han Yul looked at him. He is telling the truth. Sa Eun would feel otherwise. She is source. What do you actually need? Asked Han Yul. Zhang Yi was silent for a long time. I created the apocalypse, he said at last. Me and several others. We thought we were giving the world new rules. The strongest on top, that is fair, we thought. Pause. What? But the strongest one I created is me. And I am standing here alone talking to a man who bit himself. Quietly. This is not what was planned. This is not what was planned? A new world. Better than the old one. And? The same, said Zhang Yi. Only with different rules. The same fears, the same hierarchy. Just obvious now. He looked at Han Yul. You are building something different here. I am just surviving. No. Zhang Yi looked at the shopping center behind Han Yul. You asked permission from the trader in the market. Pause. I saw the recording. Quan is not the only one who watches the cameras. Silence. What do you want? Han Yul repeated. Zhang Yi looked at him. I do not know, he said. Quietly. Truly. For the first time in 40 days, I do not know. They stood like that for another minute. Han Yul thought. I was preparing for a fight. For the fact that I would fight and perhaps lose. For the fact that the 112 people behind me would see me fall. I was not preparing for this. Zhang Yi SC, said Han Yul. Yes, leave today. And you do not touch any of mine. Those who were cleaned out, they live. We help them find something instead of the system. In exchange? In exchange, I will answer your question. How saturation takes without destroying. Pause. Not today, when I am ready. Zhang Yi looked at him. You trust me? No, said Han Yul, but Sa Yunci will say if you break it. She is source, she feels it. I know, then you know that lying will not work. Silence, long. Zhang Yi looked at him and Han Yul again felt with jellyfish electrosensitivity the field around him. Not aggressive. Tired. Fine, said Zhang Yi. Turned around, walked away. Stopped 10 meters off without turning back. Ko Han Yul. Yes, among those I created there are others, not me. Worse than me. Pause. They will not come to talk. I know. No, you do not know them yet. His voice quiet, almost in the wind. I created the apocalypse. They created me. And left. Han Yul stood at the entrance to the shopping center. For a long time. Then footsteps. Many. So Yon, Mi-yeon, Sa-eun, Ju-ho, who ran the last meters and stopped with the kind of face people stop with when they were afraid of being too late. Alive, said Ju-ho. Exhaled. Alive. He left? Yes, did you win? Han Yul thought. I do not know, he said. What do you mean you do not know? You are alive, he left. Ju-ho-ah, said Han Yul. This is not the kind of battle where someone wins. Ju-ho looked at him. Then what kind is it? The kind where both walk away and think. Silence. That is very unclear, said Ju-ho. I know. Sa-eun came closer, looked at the place where Zhang Yi had stood. He did not lie, she said. Not one word, I know. Those he created, those who are worse. She looked at Han Yul. I can feel them, far away, but moving. How much time? I do not know. Pause. A month, maybe 2. Han Yul nodded. Countdown again. Time again. In the first life I spent 2 years in fear and died by accident. In this 140 days and already here. So Yan stood beside him as always. Not too close. Beside him. You heard what he said last? She said. Not a question. Yes, those who created him are worse. Yes, that is next. Yes. Silence. Then said, So Yan. What? Eat something. She looked straight ahead. You have not eaten since evening. Han Yul looked at her. In the first life, no one told me to eat. Did Ha-reum Sesi cook? He asked. Pak Tai Sik, said So Yon. He cooks in the mornings now. Said that is his contribution. A jellyfish cooks? Very well. Han Yul laughed for a second. Quietly, briefly. Not because it was funny, because the world was like that. Apocalypse, Zhang Yi, those worse than Zhang Yi somewhere ahead, and a jellyfish cooks breakfast. Ju-ho laughed too without knowing why, simply because Han Yul did. Mi-yeon with the corner of her mouth. Sa-eun quietly, like a person who had not laughed in a long time and had forgotten what it sounded like. They went inside. Han Yul last. Stopped for a second at the entrance. Turned around. The morning city, gray-orange. Alive. Not the one it had been 50 days ago, another one. Rebuilt, with new rules, with hybrids in the streets and systems above heads. Somewhere in the southwestern district, Yanggi, thinking. Somewhere far away, those who created him, moving. And here 112 people, breakfast from a jellyfish, a lynx who tells him to eat, a deer who reads traces, a phoenix who is no longer afraid of his fire. And 0 specimen without class, without a ceiling, with 4 skills and 9 permanent imprints, and 2 questions that still have no answer. Who are those worse than Zhang Yi? And what does it mean that they created him? The system quietly, at the edge, notification. New type of data detected in the external environment. Source unknown content. 0 specimen is not the first. Han Yul looked at the line. Not the first. Dismissed the notification, went inside. The door closed behind him. Apocalypse 50 days. Zhang Yi left, for a short time or forever unknown. Those who are worse are moving, a month or 2. 0 specimen is not the first, and somewhere in the system a notification that Han Yul closed but did not forget. Ahead is the second one.